Very good morning to all of you. So today I am going to cover the topic of the job training methods. As in my previous classes, I have already explained training and development, training need assessment, training steps, and on the job training methods. So today the topic that I am going to cover is of the job training methods. So before I start the various methods that are included in of the job training method, let me tell you the various methods of training, where these methods of training are categorized into on the job training method and off the job training method. On the job training method, I have already explained in my previous class that we define on the job training methods when the training methods applied by organizations and industries at actual workplace, means when the employees are imparted training and development while remaining at their workplace itself, then it is called as the on-the-job training method. And in my previous session, I have already explained these methods which come under the category of on-the-job training method, that is job rotation, coaching, job instructions, community assignment, and internship training. This I have already explained in my previous class. And the topic that I am starting today is the off-the-job training method. When we talk about off-the-job training method, means a training program that is being conducted or that is imparted to the employees at some other place instead of their actual work setting. So these off-the-job training methods are case study method, incident method, roleplay method, Inbasket method, lecture method, business games, simulation, management education, conferences, and many more other methods. So this part I am going to cover today. Off-the-job training method. In off-the-job training method, trainee is separated from the job situation and his attention is focused upon learning the material related to his future performance. So this slide is basically explaining two things. Number one, that what exactly is the off-the-job training method. Off-the-job training method is a method whereby employees of any organization or industries are given training, are imparted various kinds of training program as per the needs and requirement of the employees as well as the organization at some other place instead of their actual work setting. Second point about the off-the-job training is this kind of training program is generally imparted under those circumstances when the employees are to be trained about any machinery, about any tool or technology that is very expensive in nature. Like at times you must be watching that there are certain organizations which utilize very expensive technology, very expensive machinery or tools. So it is really very important that employees, instead of getting training at actual workplace, they get training at some other place, and that place is exactly simulated just like the actual work setting, and all the plants and machineries are planted over there, transplanted over there, and they get the training related to those machineries and technology and tools. And once they completely learn about those tools, about those machinery, they come at actual work setting and they start executing those skills and knowledge in their actual work setting. Then the actual location may be. Then the next question comes that what exactly the location which is being chosen by the employer or by the trainer for conduction of the off-the-job training. So at times the location for conducting the off-the-job training maybe the classroom, it may be chosen some other place that is away from the company premises, and I mean, it is completely dependent on the trainer's wish and will, as well as the employer's decision also, that where exactly they have to conduct the training program. So the actual location may be the classroom, company classroom, or in place where which are owned by the company, or in university or the association which have no connection with the company. The various off-the-job training methods, then the question comes that what are the various methods of training, off-the-job training methods? So these are the various methodologies of training. These are the lecture method, audio-visual techniques, conference, role-play, case study, simulation, programmed instruction, computer-assisted instruction, syndicate method, and behavioral modeling, sensitivity training, fishbowl exercise, seminar or team discussion, laboratory training, tele-training, and experimental exercises. So these are the various off-the-job training methods, and based on the company requirement, based on the requirement of that particular organizational employees, a particular training methodology, a specific training methodology is being chosen by the trainer, and then as per the predefined location and the training methodology, and with the availability of all the resources, whether it is infrastructure, whether it is projector, whether it is tool or technology is required, that is being properly managed, and then training program is being started. Then the next slide comes is the question comes that what are the advantages and disadvantages? Off-the-job training methods are those training and development programs that take place away from the daily pressure of the job and are conducted by highly competent outsider resource people who often serve as a trainer, which is one of the main advantages of this method. Such people include technicians, consultants, and university faculty. Its major drawback is the transfer problem. Too often trainers learn new facts and principles of training program via lecture, via workshop and conferences, but have no idea that how to execute these knowledge, these skill sets at real workplace. So, as I told you that each and every phenomena has its pros and cons. One thing that advantages of off-the-job training is that the employees actually get away from the real workplace, and there they can completely concentrate on the training program. They can really devote their time, their concentration on whatsoever the training program is being imparted to them without any distraction. This is one of the greatest advantages of this training program, of the job training program. And talking about the disadvantages of the job training program is that at times what happens that employees and workers, they learn these skill sets, they get the knowledge, they get the information during that training program, but actually when it comes to the execution of those skill sets, the execution of those knowledge at the real workplace, they get failure. So this is one of the big disadvantage of this program. So to start with, the methods of the job training method is, first method is the lecture method. What is lecture method? This is also called as classroom training, wherein the employees are given lecture about the particular job requirements and the necessary skills required to implement those tasks. There is generally a classroom or a workshop wherein the complete job knowledge is given to the people. The main purpose of this training program is to make employees well informed about their job roles and discussing their queries arising out of lecture. So you can take the example at this point of time also. Rather in your classroom, I am explaining the facts via lecture method, but by using the audio visual techniques, and that is also one of the very well-known off-the-job training methodology, using audio-visual techniques. So when it comes to the lecture method, what happens that there remains the trainer, there remains the person who instructs, who lecture to the employees in a classroom which is created in a simulated manner, where there is a person who gives the lecture about the particular job, step by step, that how to perform any specific job in a step-by-step manner, and regarding that the employees, or we can say the trainees, get the instructions that how to go for any kind of job. Okay, so what is that? Then it comes that what are the advantages of lecture method? The best advantage of lecture method is that trainees and the trainer, they both people, or we can say both the parties are interacting with each other. At any point of time, if the trainees are having any kind of query, any kind of question, they may ask their queries, they may ask their doubt at that point of time only, and the trainer can clarify the points to the employees. So in this manner, it is a very one of the best method. Apart from that, it is also a very cost-effective method. It is not incurring any kind of cost, right? Because lecture method is something whereby the trainer is giving the instructions, giving the job-related knowledge or information to the employees, and people have to simply concentrate and listen to the person, and accordingly they have to follow those instructions at their real workplace. So this is about the lecture method. Then the next method comes is the audio-visual techniques. I was just talking about audio-visual techniques. As the term is itself referring audio-visual techniques, means here the trainer uses the audio methods also, as well as visual tools and technology also. And in my personal opinion, I find that audio-visual technique is considered as one of the best methodology, because here the trainees are not only listening to the trainer, but at the same time they are also watching something related to the training program. So audio-visual techniques covers an array of training techniques such as films, slides, videotapes. It allows participants to see while listening and is usually quite good at capturing their interest. These methods allow the trainer's message to be uniformly given to the numerous organizational locations at one time and to be reused as often as required. So this point basically states that, as you all must be aware of this fact, that there are many multinational companies out there that those have many branches in several continents. They may exist at cross border, like you can take the example of Amazon, like you can take the example of Google, you can take the example of IBM, you can take the example of Larsen & Toubro, and many other BPO industry and other organizations or multinational companies. They do have their branches at several places. So what is the benefit of this technology? By using this technology, audio-visual technology, the trainer can impart the training session all across the continent, and people sitting, it may be conducted at some of the job. It is, as I have already told you, that it is one of the off-the-job training methodology, but it can also be conducted virtually also. It can be conducted in real work setting also. It can be conducted at the virtual level also, because most of the time such kind of training program, whenever any employer plans to conduct these training programs, incur a lot of cost. So to make it more economical and to save the cost, this is one of the best methods that the trainer can inform the employees all across border that, look, my dear, this is what the time period, and at this time I am going to impart the session, impart the training program so and so time, so you all are there to be present over there. So this is one of the cost effective method, and that is mostly utilized by majority of the organizations and industry. Then the question comes that what all are tools and techniques are utilized in this audio visual technique. So these are the blackboard, flip charts, magnetic board, and then overhead projector that we keep on, we are also using. Then videotapes may also be utilized. When we talk about the videotape, it is particularly useful in recording employees' job behavior, their performance can be tagged and then observed and evaluated for effective and ineffective behavior. So what happens that when the trainer uses all these audio visual technology, what happens that, as I have already told you, that such kind of training programs also includes many kind of activities, employee based activity, whereby employees are supposed to work on those assignments during the training session, and at times their behavior and their attitude and their orientation towards training sessions is also being recorded, and by these recordings even trainer can evaluate these watch these recordings and can evaluate their correct or wrong ways of doing the things, and they can give the feedback at the same time to the employee so that they can take the corrective measures, or if anything which is lacking from the side of the trainer, so that corrective action can also be taken into consideration, and at the same time proper kind of feedback should also be given, can also be given by the trainer. So this is one of the best method which is considered as the off-the-job training methodology. Talking about the advantages of audiovisual technology, audiovisual techniques save the time, as the copies of the same tape or films can be mailed or transferred at so many branches to so many people. Trainee also get the immediate visual feedback of their behavior when necessary. For example, in case of, if we talk about the example, you can see that sales presentation or electrical assembly procedures. So any kind of feedback while using this audio visual technology can also be given by the trainer at the same time, and employees, or we can say trainees, can correct their behavior after getting the feedback. Then talking about the disadvantage, a disadvantage is that trainer cannot modify formal visuals in response to the new situations, and in answering questions it is difficult to modify these training methods if the training content changes, because as I told you, as I keep on repeating this fact, that environmental changes keep on taking place. Various kinds of changes and challenges that keep on taking place on political, economical, social, technological, environmental and legal fronts, and according to those changes and challenges, the content is also to be modified. So what happens that in this respect and regard, this kind of method seems to be little expensive, because any kind of change has occurred, immediately the trainer has to make the modifications. And so this is one of the best, this is one of the one main disadvantage of this. Then the next method is the conference. When we talk about the conference, basically this method encourages the participation of all the members of the group to exchange of opinions, ideas and criticism. Whenever several people meet to discuss any particular topic or subject, that is known as conference, each worker analyzes and discusses the various problems related to that topic. Moreover, this method enables each worker to express their respective viewpoint. So what does it mean? What is conference actually? Conference in context with off-the-job training method is one of the best method. I would say that all the methods are best, and as per the need and wants and the requirements of the organization and the industry, particular methodology is being used. So conference is basically, when it comes under the training method, it is one of the method whereby the employer decides about a particular venue, and the conduction of training program takes place on a specific theme or any new update or any new topic that is very essential for the people to know about that issue, because that issue is really going to affect the overall organizational performance. Like it may be related to the any kind of organizational complexity, it may be related to any kind of changes or challenges which are taking place in the external environment. Like you can take the example of COVID also, which I keep on citing examples related to COVID in majority of my sessions. So in this session also you can take this example that due to COVID arrival, it has challenged the overall globe and the organizations on working front, because and the organizations are enforced to bring forth many kinds of changes within their organizational settings for the successful accomplishment of the organizational activities, because the ways of working pattern has been changed, employee behavior is being changed. So many changes and challenges have taken on this front. So accordingly, if the employer really wants the excellency in its organization, so in that regard, the concerned person or the trainer is continuously supposed to conduct various kinds of training program, whether it is related to the quality of the product or the services or the departmental wise or the departmental heads wise or the human relationship wise or the crisis management wise, because there are several kinds of issues which are related to the organization. So conference is one of the method whereby all these issues can be taken into consideration. But remember one thing, that in conference only one topic with several sub-themes is being chosen, and then all the participants, whosoever are attending the conference, they participate in that event, and they come up with their own ideas, valuable suggestions, and at the same time they also get the feedback from one another. Then the next part comes is the role playing. As the role playing terminology is itself referring that the trainees or the employees, whosoever are attending, I can say that who are learning through this method. Role play means that enactment of any particular role. So what does it mean? That role play believes in active participation. It is aimed at enhancing the interpersonal human relationships. People spontaneously act out problems of human relations and analyze the enactment with the help of other role players and observers, makes possible to maximum participation and a cognitive learning method. A role play method is considered as the cognitive learning method. What does it mean, cognitive learning method? It means that learning by doing. Okay, and the whole play will be recorded and trainee gets an opportunity to examine their own performance. So when we talk about the role play method, then during this training session, all the employees, whosoever are participating or the participants, they enact a particular role. How they enact? Then in this regard, all the employees, or we can say the trainees, get a real organizational based problem, and there they choose a particular role, or the trainer gives a specified role to each and every individual, and all those individuals are supposed to enact those roles. So what does happen when all the people and trainer observes the this session? So what happens that here all the people who are enacting the particular role, they observe each other roles and how they are enacting, how they are expressing themselves, how they are enacting that particular role, and accordingly feedback process also takes place. And at the same time, trainer also gives an opportunity to give the feedback or about the corrective actions or about the corrective measures that has to be taken participant wise. Then next method is the Inbasket method, or this method is also referred as the in-tray method. What is this method? The employees are given information about an imaginary company, its activities and products, HR employed and all data related to the firm. The training employee under training program has to make notes, delegate tasks and prepare schedules for a specified time. This can develop situational judgments and quick decision making skills. So basically when we talk about the in-basket training or in-tray methods, what happens that it is generally conducted, this kind of training program is conducted for the managerial level people. You should always be aware of this fact that which segment of the organization get this kind of training, such kind of training. So mainly this kind of training program is meant for those people who are in some decision making roles. So in-basket training or in-trade method is a method whereby an unorganized data about any organization, about its departments, about that particular organization people, about the various activities and products are being performed, and a very little span of time period is given to the candidate, given to the participant, and in that short period of time all those participants are supposed to, or the trainee is supposed to categorize and take the decision related to the conduction of various kinds of activities based on the priority. When it comes to the priority basis, it means that which activity has to be conducted first, which comes later, first priority, second priority, third priority. So what is the objective or motive of conduction of such kind of training program? Generally these kind of training programs are being conducted to enhance the analytical skill or decision making skill of the employees, and so that once they will be learning these kind of skills via these methodologies, so that they can actually go back to their real work setting and where they can practice, they can execute these skills in decision making activities. Then the next method of the job training is business games. According to this method, the trainees are divided into various groups, and each group has to discuss about various activities and functions of an imaginary organization. They will discuss and decide about various subjects like production, promotion, pricing. This gives result in cooperative decision making process. What is this method? Business games method. Here the participants or the trainees are divided into various groups, and they are being given particular situation with the help of various games, management games. They try to learn and relearn many new things, and at the same time they also learn taking decision making related to their departments, related to their people, related to the any kind of issue which is concerned with the organization or industry. As it is already mentioned that production, promotion, pricing, it may include a number of issues. Then the next part is the management education. Management education is a phenomena whereby employees of any organization, they learn education related to the management, because it is all management concepts which is being utilized by the employees, by the trainees, by the people in actual work setting. Like you can also take this example, like right now generally this kind of method is being applied in management institutions or engineering institutions. Like at this point of time I'm also educating you, I'm also giving you the management education so that you can learn these skills, you can learn these methods, and you can actually utilize these methods at actual work days. Then the next method is case study method. Case study method deals with any problem confronted by a business which can be solved by an employee. The trainee is given an opportunity to analyze the particular case and come out with all possible solutions. This method can enhance analytical and critical ability of the participant. So whenever we talk about the case method, what does it mean? These cases mainly remain associated with any real problematic situation of various organizations and industries. And this is a fact that organizations come across with several complex issues, and that may be related to activities based which are being performed in various kinds of departments. That may also be related to any individual basis. That may also be related to something salary based, activities based, function based, or any kind of crisis management issue, relationship based. So many areas may be covered under this, and via this method what happens, participants go through that particular case and they try to come out with several probable solutions of that particular problem, and they discuss those issues along with the solutions with each other. And this is also one of the fact that many trainees remain in training program, and this way they come across with multiple solutions, and that may be really utilized, or we can say executed at real workplace. Then the next method is the incident method. Incident method, as the term is itself referring, that incidents are prepared on the basis of the actual situations which happened in different organizations, and each employee in the training group is asked to make the decision as it is real life situation. Later on, the entire group discusses the incidents and takes decision related to the incident based on individual and group decision. So as this term is itself referring, that incident method means what happens, that they are being given several incidents or situations, and there the participants or the trainees are required to assess those incidents, to assess those situations, and come out with their own solutions. Once it is being conducted on an individual basis, then what happens? Then it is being discussed in a group, and then many kinds of outcomes may be, coming across, and that they can utilize at the real workplace. Then the next method is the simulation method. The meaning of simulation means what? The meaning of simulation means creating an artificial environment whereby the trainees or the employees learn about the actually to operate the various kinds of machinery, tools and technology, and once they fully learn about those tools, technology and machinery, then they try to implement those skill sets at their real workplace. For example, airplane pilot simulation, or we can say high-end military equipment simulation. So these are those machineries, those tools. These are very costly machineries or tools or technology which cannot be directly utilized by the participants or the employees. So what happens, that for such kind of training program, simulated training program, which is off the job, which is one of the off-the-job training method, an artificial or simulated environment is being created whereby employees learn actually how to operate the various kinds of machinery, tools or technology, and once they completely learn about those tools, about those technology and machinery, they go back to their actual work setting and they start executing those skills into their real work setting. Then the next method comes is the vestibule training. This is an off-the-job training method, a training course or class that simulates or mimics actual job functionality. This is done when the amount of job training that has to be performed by the line manager is exceeded the capacity of the manager. Vestibule training is used for clerical training and semi-skilled training, and it is not much expensive. For example, cabin crew training of an airliner, hotel kitchen workers training. So basically, vestibule training is also one of the off-the-job training methods whereby employees or the trainees learn about the semi-skilled knowledge, or as it has already mentioned, that to impart clerical training and the semi-skilled training, such kind of training method which is referred as vestibule training is being imparted to the people. Then the next comes is the apprenticeship training. Though today in this session I am covering all the off-the-job training method, but here this apprenticeship training was remaining, which is one of the on-the-job training method. So about it I would say that on-the-job training methods whereby workers learn the job while remaining in actual work setting, mean learning while earning. They remain in their actual work setting and at the same time they learn about various kinds of tasks, about various kinds of activities, about various kinds of tasks related, it may be related to the crafts, it may be related to the trade, it may be related to any technical field that require a long-term learning before they actually gain the proficiency in their own, respective discipline or domain. This training is a blend of classroom and on-the-job training and is conducted under the close supervision. This can be extended up to 1 to 3 years. So you have to remember and recall that whenever we talk about the apprenticeship training, means here the trainer is going to give the training related to the craft, related to the trade and technical fields, which cannot be learned in a day or two, because these kinds of skills are needed for for attaining these kind of training programs. The employees are supposed to attend, or the people are supposed to attend these programs for a specific period of time. It may be 6 months, it may be 1 year, it may be more than 1 year, and then only they get the skill to perform these kind of activities. And this is also one of the best way when we talk about the apprenticeship training program. This apprenticeship training program is one of the training programs whereby hundreds of people, they attend these programs and then they get the employment. And even if they are attending in some organization, they also get some kind of a stipend, and at the same time, whenever any vacancy arises, as per their skill set, as per their domain, they get the employment over there. So it is generally an employment generating kind of activity. And this is all about the off-the-job training program.